70 pages that I can go through with you, but anything, I want to share this with the Commission because this is a lot of the materials that I've used to presentations of the island. One of the last presentations I did was military. Admiral, our general base, parts of Indo-Pacific. Trying to let them understand where are we heading with, and so where are their costs that I did, and summarizes a lot of the. I would just like to highlight a couple of items. One is page number 5. If you look at the manpower, the full-time equivalency today, look over is 512. Total now is 113. Not necessarily all good because a lot of retirees have. However, in addition to that, they're not full-time equivalent. We do have about 50 to 60 apprentices and trainees.
That's in the 413. That's in the 413 that currently. Okay. Oh, full time. Okay, got it. But we've had trainees consistently.
So we've stepped apprenticeship and new ones. Secondly, operation and maintenance. So we are retiring cabbers. Certainly, other teams are still going to be operated and maintained.
So we get more solar on, yeah.
And more solar
Right.
and everything. And no one's going to lose a job. We plan out well so that even those that end up with fit into the other scenarios. We have about 21 that are being also being maintained. They're not operating, they're maintaining the machine. And this the apprenticeship programs are going in all 10 of the GPA work is eligible for retirement in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we're well into that already, Mr. And I can provide a summary later on, but we have been consistently.
Well, John, I acknowledge that because your employees rather, are a critical component of your operation. So you have to constantly be addressing, they're coming, they're going. Also, I think, John, and as you've trained your apprenticeship program, there may be one or two that maybe you don't hire, but they get jobs elsewhere. So you do provide a service to the other people.
And then, John, I just want to make sure, in 2014, when you stepped in, we had 512 employees. Today, we have 413. So you've continued the operations of the company with 100. We now have 100 fewer employees, about a 20% reduction in the number of employees that used to work for us that now no longer work for us, which is another way you keep the base rate flat. We haven't raised the base rate since 2013, almost a decade now. And this is one way you do it, is you're running the company with 20% fewer employees than you started with 8 years ago.
Yeah, taking advantage of technology. Go ahead.
The continuation of growth, right?
Right.
From 2014 to now.
Yeah, but
We have been adding on customers.
Yeah.
yeah, but
We're having about 500 to 800 every year. So you see what's happening in the balance here. We're right-sizing the consumer's consumption by the rebates, so that really they're getting efficient equipment as efficient as possible, reducing and helping them with the rebates. That's taking away from our base rate. However, our growth is covering that. Okay?
And your reduction in payroll.
a
He's
reduction
covering-
in
he's covering that
payroll
also.
and everything. So that's all going down to the cash. Also, we're saying, okay, we got so many days in cash, right?
Yeah.
And so when we say, okay, we're funding the LEAC and we're under recovering by
Temporarily.
as much as 47 million, that 47 million came from
These kinds of savings.
this kind of savings. So there are some that think that, hey, we should be cutting here and there. But the
You
fact
have.
of the matter is, it has been, it's been
You have.
continually being done.
And one other thing I think that I want to encourage you with is the reduction in personnel has also been because of technology. You know, smart meters. You know, you no longer needed meter readers. So, you know, you've been able to implement technology into the system to therefore saving personnel, you know, being able to cut personnel. So it's not just cutting, it's the fact that you're doing it using technology.
So where I see us eventually here, maybe in the next 3 years or so, is that, or within this next 5 years, really, the company will probably run with a FTE of about 400.
Yeah.
That's all.
In 5 years?
Within the next.
So you're still looking to reduce the number of employees over the
Because
next
even
5 years?
remember, we're retiring Cabras 1 and 2.
Right.
Some of those will be retiring. So we're augmenting as we can. So again, you know, we can retire Cabras 1 and 2 until
Yep.
the end of 2024. So,
Until you also get more solar.
so
And
it's
as you
a
get more
challenge
solar.
trying to keep employees, and you know, you don't
Sure.
just know how to operate a steam plant. It takes
Sure.
years of service, right?
I mean, I would hazard to guess there is no government agency that has reduced its number of employees by 20% since 2014. Pretty confident of that. I would love to be proven wrong, but I know for sure, EPA, you have reduced in absolute terms number of employees by percent, which is another way that the base rate, we're able to keep the base rate down for our ratepayers and still provide the service to more ratepayers. Like you're saying, we're adding 800 a year, but we're doing it with fewer people. Because, and I really took to heart your demand side management, because what people don't appreciate is if total demand goes down, your next generator, your next solar farm doesn't have to be as big, because the amount of capacity we are now serving has become more efficient over time. As people get more energy efficient, that next generator can be delayed, can be reduced in size. Solar farms that we need in the future, maybe between technology and reduction in growth and demand side management, which reduces the draw that we have to meet, our future CIPs will begin to come down because we don't need as much generation capacity if people are using less energy. And that's the whole logic of why you do demand side management. The smaller the demand is, the smaller our system can become. A smaller system costs less than a bigger system. And both in terms of day-to-day operations and in terms of long-term debt, right? The next, you know, your successor down the road someday, you know, we'll not have to worry about peak is what, 250, 260 now, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that, right? Right, depending on
worry
summertime,
about it.
and that peak is going to get whittled down over time, and that means less CapEx, less debt service for capacity. And that is another way that savings in the future will accrue to our ratepayers.
And the renewables coming in with this load shifting batteries will reduce that peak.
Even more.
Yeah,
And
so
with
that- yeah.
but the peak will get shaved with demand side management, right? Because people are at peak are using less energy because they have more efficient air cons, more commercial businesses have more efficient equipment. And that's why we're willing to reinvest in demand side management and that comes out of the LEAC, and it produces, what did you say, 3 million a month is our utility savings at the new solar farm?
Yeah, capital.
Is our LEAC, right? I mean, there's a perfect example of how it works.
Yeah. And beautiful thing is, in terms of generating capacity as we move forward, putting in more and more solar over time. Because I remember one of the first things John said a long time ago, when we were pushing the concept of building a new power plant. He says, this will be the last power plant we'll ever build. Because as this goes on, as you expand your renewable portfolio on your solar farms, you're going to keep taking out more and more generators, so go by the wayside. You know, so that's the road forward. One of the things I think, John, that's very hard for people to understand is we've constantly told them, we're going to bring your power bill down. But there's a bunch of steps that we have to go through. And we're moving as fast as we can. Sometimes, unfortunately, people kind of stand in our way.
Well,
Maybe-
COVID delayed Ukudu,
Yeah,
COVID
and
cost
the-
us NG.
And then we also,
The protest, the stupid
we
protest.
lost out on some savings on our refinance.
Yeah.
That's all part of the mix that goes into the pot that you provide us.
But you just have to manage through that,
Yeah.
which is what.
The one thing I tell you, John, that I thumbed through your thing, through your presentation. What I really couldn't get over is the machines that move the new plant up to, and I don't know, I forgot which page they're in. That's going to move the new plant. You know, the machine that's going to move.
The robot?
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
I forget what. I forget what page that's
Right
on.
here. Joe.
Huh?
I don't know, this,
what-
43?
43? Yeah, that's amazing, John. That to me is.
On the community in the island will be
And that's I can't get over, John. 173 tons in one piece of equipment that you're moving on the road. And how many axles and how many tires do you have there?
Oh my gosh.
self-propelled,
Yeah.
modular,
Yeah,
has his own
yeah. That's amazing.
1 to 3 miles.
Yeah. There's no. See, John, that's the thing that our ratepayers don't always get a hold of. They don't understand the technology and the stuff that you're bringing in, and that's really, John, down by 2035, and when they want the 100% renewable by what, 2045? By 2045, that you're only going to have the last power plant. You have some maybe synchronous condensers or something, and they'll be all. And by then, there might be something new. But you have put in place a system that was going to take us there.
And it's sustainable.
And it's sustainable. So,
That's why I like
That's
to
the key.
read it. So many years, nobody in the mercy of oil.
yes,
So then,
yeah,
we are going to be able to.
The impact won't be as great because we're less reliant on oil for our energy source. Absolutely.
Price tags the customers and everything more. Because the portable rate is going to be that lower than cable TV. So together with the phones. I'm realizing that because that's what's happening to me.
and John, you should put this on your website. Really, I think this is a good
So
thing.
again, I've done a lot of presentations. Again, it's all the same message. More now, really. Just highlighting a few more, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
We haven't had a storm in ages, but of course, it's the one to remind our customers. We'll keep our standby generators going, so that we make sure we and our sister company get water.
Sure.
These systems are strong. The whole inventory for coming to us, not for transfer. Different things. So. We're quite equipped. Furthermore, in here somewhere, if you look at the goal was to get to 25 bucks.
Yeah. How many do we have?
Overtime.
Wait,
Yep.
why that many? Look, use 18 at a time and 7 room rotation.
Right.
If we need help, pull DNMI and then the
And they
next thing they fly him here.
And they have a truck.
They go right to the truck
And they have a
they're
truck.
out in the field.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's, in the States, they have to,
You need trucks and people.
They have to bring the truck in with them.
here, they can drive it here, so they have to be available. So again,
Yep.
that's been accomplished.
And I need to add, so in 2002, after Pang Sanhua destroyed Guam, the new CCU was elected and began to take over this new mandate of running the utilities. we met in candlelight, I remember that, because we didn't have enough power. And the estimate of the managers at the time was 5 or 6 months. When you joined the organization, working with Ken and all the rest of this team, you got us back in like 90 days. You were way ahead of what prior management thought they could recover. But I remember the issue of the bucket truck, right? Remember we had to fly them in on a big Russian trawler. Yeah, yeah. 20 years ago, we don't have this problem anymore. We have sufficient inventory, which was one of your big concerns when you first took over, was the cupboard was bare to put the poles back up, to put the wires, the hardware back up. And yet you still managed to exceed the expectation of the prior management of 5 or 6 months. You got it done in 60 to 90 days, where 98% of the power was restored. The few that were not restored were just badly hit, way the heck out there, but you brought back the island much faster. And here we are 20 years later. Here's your
With a lot of
presentation.
progress.
You got plenty of bucket trucks. You have the plan. We have a backup. We have a base load generator that will soon migrate over the next 10 to 20 years to be the backup generator to all the other renewables and storage that the chairman's talking about. Will also be online. And yet we all know when you're on a boat or the island called Guam and an isolated grid, you better have backup capacity, which is what the new Ukudu generator will do. And as the chairman said, if we get to 100% renewables in 2040 and we don't need it, you still have it, don't put any gas in it. Just leave it there. But boy, if you need it because Typhoon Simon shows up and knocks out 20% of our solar, the backup generator is there. And then we own it.
Oh, yeah.
And that generator can last 50 to 70 years. Nothing. Yeah. Again, on the base rate, that cost goes away.
Clean and fuel efficient.
Yeah.
So,
And then you can afford to just, the machines are maintained, they'll last.
So if we had to say, if 20 years ago we said, where would we like to be today? That's what's in this report from you, John.
Yep.
Now, this report again, Mr. There's pictures, many pictures, showing
Many
construction is moving. I know today that you're looking at construction about 30% completed, over 2 years.
So still saying 2024 is when it looks like we'll turn it on?
And one of the biggest thing again is the intermittency in the system. That's their big issue. With customers saying, oh, their clock is
going too fast.
Yeah, you fixed the frequency modulation. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. And we're about to issue the new bid, right? I've had inquiries from the private people that want to bid. The new bid for the next set of renewables you're issuing next month, in another week or so. Yeah, next week, basically. This week.
Okay, so
one more page, Mr. Stair, I'll leave it at that, page 63.
we need to get to scoring you.
Well,
Okay,
that's a good way of skipping 40 pages. I like that.
63?
Look at the
almost last
year
page.
2020.
Uh-huh.
Says LEAC.
14 cents.
Versus today it's at 32.
30.
Is about 30.
So you're going to cut it by more than half
So again,
by 2024.
with the new Kudu, the renewables that are on today, you are going to average one.
And then you project
And then
even lower
the
decreases.
Next page,
Yep.
even if it went to 180, that 14 cents only goes.
Versus 32. So we're looking at a reduction in the LEAC from 1/3 to 50% after the Ukudu generator comes online in 2 years.
So anything happening in the world, your impact is
Yep.
stands to be 21. I guess everybody will love 21 today.
Yeah, and it'll still be
But they'll
reliable.
like the 14 even better.
Yeah.
And we're going there.
And 14 is that market and still on track.
And all the new renewables will have storage.
Right, we did go to the natural gas as
That's our next proposal.
Still has to be. Maybe look the 7 to
Yeah.
18 cents.
When do you see that on the 2023, the 22 cents or the 22? What month would that fall?
You're seeing it here at 20, which is the whole year.
Oh, okay.
But already beginning about the summer mid, fuel cost is gonna start.
Coming down.
When the new power plant comes
Because the
on,
new power plants start getting commissioned.
we start,
Once it's commissioned, Cabras production goes down.
Cabras 1 and 2 go.
Here's your $140 barrel of oil. So, all of the other generators will be relegated to reserve. Because the unit is commissioned, even before that,
And if we're allowed, I see what you're showing, if we're allowed to go to LNG, which is why we built a generator that can burn two fuels, you're looking at 10-cent LEAX.
Yeah.
So and that's the key to me, is the sustainable plan.
Yeah.
That will, it's not just a one-time reduction. We are going to significantly reduce the amount of oil we use to create the energy. That's what the new generator does. Then the ability of the new generator to burn an even cheaper fuel than we're forced to burn while still having lower emissions. You've already set this highway for us, and it'll be very exciting over the next 6 years to implement all of this. We still have to get the approvals, but I'm confident that we can make the case with the PUC and the community that we can get this LEAC down to even as low as 10% to 10 cents a kilowatt hour by converting to LNG after we complete construction of Ukudu. But even when Ukudu is done in 2024, you're looking at 10 cent, 11 cent LEAC.
So you look at the whole scenario there. The only thing left in that equation is that
That's it, which is under construction.
that's already
Yep.
On the way.
So again, the proof is in the
Right.
the planning, implementation, and again, it's
And I'm sorry, the 31 will go to 21 by 2025 when Ukudu is online, right? And then,
the oil, if it's at 120,
And
which is higher than normal,
correct, yeah,
it'll be at
15, right, exactly.
Again, that's all I do. We have a roadmap again for implementing other things. Let people working with.
It's all good.
A lot of good things happening, but a lot
Okay.
of work is.
And Mr. Chairman, in fairness to John, I mean, you have a very comprehensive 70-page outline, but you have shared pieces of this and much of this before in
With
a
us.
whole series of meetings in the last year, right? None of this is new to us. You're just sort of summarizing where we are. This is an excellent summary, just like the State of the Union. This is the state of of Guam Power Authority. Like the chairman says, we're going to put this on the website. Let's talk to our outreach team about maybe building an outreach campaign around this information of where we're going and what our ratepayers can look forward to, and for them to hold us honest that we say this is going to get done, and then we make it happen. And so I'm very comfortable with that.
So, so,
Wonderful, John.
okay, John. Now, John, I want to also acknowledge that, one of the things I appreciate you did is you gave us what you scored last year, what we scored you last year, and then we have the blank,
So
blank
where's
form.
that one?
You have it.
I have a blank. Where's the one with?
Could have given you one filled out, Mr. Chair. but
Maybe is that why I ended up with two?
No, here,
So I have one with a blank, Mr. Chair.
John, where's the one for, where's the other one for John B? Oh, I gave it to,
I have the blank. I just need the one from last year.
Last year says 2021.
yeah, you should have that one. There were two in there.
Yeah.
I had two, I have two.
Yeah.
You-
Right here.
Okay, no, you got it? Did you get the one? You have it now? There, Simon. He's handing it.
2021.
One says 2021.
Yeah, right there on the bottom.
Okay,
Okay.
and then you have a blank one. So, commissioners, what you can do, see, is take the 2021, this was our scoring of John last year. And then you have the blank form. so we can score.
Last year, Mr. Chairman, what was his annualized, what was his,
So if you go to
did
the
we give the
last
summary?
page,
Yeah, what was his summary score from last year?
his summary score was, okay, that part I don't have.
Okay.
John Ray, do you have, what was the summary score for your general manager last year? You know
This was
the
good.
total
No,
score?
it's not on you, it's,
He's got it.
you gave it to us, it's just we,
Yeah, it can be excused. Now we get down to the sausage making.
Where you going, John?
No, actually, your
I want to see your face.
Your evaluation score, John, was 3.72.
3.72 for last year?
The bottom line
Thank
number.
you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, so just hold on.
Thank you, John.
Okay, John,
Thank you, John.
thank you very much. Good presentation. Okay.
And then,
Okay,
Mr. Chair, just for the record, in case people have joined us late, we're evaluating John B. and Miguel this morning.
our two general managers,
Right, our
correct?
two GMs, as required by law in
open session.
Open session, right? And the rating scale, Mr. Commissioner Limtiako's not here.
Sure, go ahead.
It's, just, he's done a great job in setting
Sure.
this up. So a rating scale from 1 to 5, with 5 meaning significantly exceeds expectations, outstanding, and a score of a 5, the commissioner has to provide a basis for why scored 5. A 4 is exceeds expectations, above satisfactory. A 3 is meet expectations, satisfactory. A 2 is inconsistently meets expectations, marginal. And a 1 is fails to meet expectations, unsatisfactory. This information is available on the website. It will also be available when these reviews are done,
When we post these reviews.
all of this. But that's the basis by which the three of us will evaluate Mr. Benavente and Mr. Bayo.
Right.
And Commissioner Limtiako is recused because he has a conflict.
Sure. Okay. So, we can go down the line and go through each KPI.
We'll follow your lead, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll start. Yes, this
Oh,
is
yeah,
open
this whole
session.
thing, yeah,
This
all
is all open session. Okay. There's a law that requires the general manager to be open session.
And we have nothing to hide
And
from
we
our
have
ratepayers.
No, and we're very proud of our significant achievements. Listen, if we had
And if we had an issue, we would raise that.
we
as
would
well.
raise that issue, but, so.
We've been very
Okay,
transparent.
Very
as
transparent. So, starting with managing operations 1.0 and the subsections 1.1.1.
Okay.
Your score and any comment? This is administers the daily business affairs to ensure electricity at an affordable cost. Our combined scoring last year was 3.83. Okay. You should have that, right? Right? Okay, everybody? Okay, so last time, our cumulative total last year was 3.83, which meant, some gave us a 5, some gave a 4, some gave a 3.7. So if we can,
You're talking about the last.
no, I'm
each
talking
section?
about the first section. Yeah, the first block up here.
No, but
No. The block for this,
Managing operations.
just
Okay.
for.
It's 30% of the score, and then we have that 1-1, 1-2, one like we did for the other.
So we have to go down the line. Okay. So, anybody want to give a score? And well, why don't we go around?
Okay.
Give a score and your reason.
Mr. Chairman, for all 4 of these pieces, 1-1 through 1-5,
Yeah.
I gave Mr. Benavente a 4 because
Okay.
he clearly has met all the requirements of the US EPA. He has met all our requirements in terms of managing operations. He pointed out how we've got 20% fewer employees. Right? He's talked about lowering fuel and energy costs. We just talked about the movement towards the renewables and the construction of Ukudu, which is going to no longer a dream. Pepco's solar farm is already saving us money, and the Ukudu generator is 30% completed and is well on its way to being done by 2024, and that's going to reduce our use of oil, which is going to reduce.
Okay.
So I gave him a 4 in all which is the section maintain the reliability of the island-wide power system.
Yep.
You know, I recall also that, you know, we lost 2 of the Cabris generators in 2016, which 20, 30 years ago would have just
Wiped us out.
wiped us out, shut us down, hampered us.
And-
Yet John B. and his team was able to keep service consistent. To this day, we don't have Cabris 3 and 4. They were retired prematurely
Yep.
and early, and yet we kept the rest of the system going. And
With no island-wide outages.
no island-wide outages, and we got Ukudu started. We got another solar farm on the line, and we would have had another solar farm, NG, had it not been for the delays caused by COVID and frivolous protests.
Protests.
That we also, John B. and his team also won the protest.
Yeah.
That they had not done anything incorrectly. So I gave him a 4 in all of the 1.1.
Okay, I concur. I give them a 4 for all the 1.1 to 1.115.
For my numbers, I gave him 4, 4.5,
Okay,
4.
okay.
Is someone going to?
No, we're going to tabulate it afterward. Somebody will, yeah,
Someone will help.
yeah.
Is someone, okay. We do this. So yours
No,
is 4.5, and I'm going to, just to help me.
No. I'm only keep your score. That way they won't confuse anybody else. And
Okay, because someone else is going to tabulate it.
Somebody else is going
Okay,
to tabulate it.
perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I gave him, like you did, Commissioner Sanchez, I gave him all 4s. Commissioner Martinez gave him, go ahead again. one more time.
1.1.2, okay, I'll
Yeah.
read it down.
Just down, 4.
4, 4.5, 4, 4, 4.
Okay, very good. Now going to the second thing, which is a fairly functional, attends all CCU and PUC meetings, prepares,
4.5.
you're giving him a 4.5?
Yeah.
Okay. I give him a 4.
I gave him a 3 point.
Okay.
Pretty. It's
Okay.
not the most important thing he does.
Yeah,
But he does.
but he does it.
You know, it's hard to be outstanding
Sure.
because you show up at
Tending-
meetings.
Yeah,
But he's
but he
never
does,
missed- he's
but he
never missed a
prepares,
meeting.
and he prepares well.
And it's not just our meetings. He meets with the PUC, he goes down to the legislature.
Okay. Plans, develops the structure of the authority's organization, provide for its staffing for qualified individual. This is all about people. And he's shown us that, he's brought the people down, brought technology into the system, allowed him to cut 100 people since he came on board. And not just cut, but to cut people realistically and infuse technology into the system. That allows him to do that. Well, on this one, I would give him a 4.5.
I gave him 4.
Okay, we gave him 4.5 on both.
4.
4.4, okay. Next, let's go down to, and I gave him 4.5 on the last one. There's 3, I'm sorry. No.
We're in
There's-
section 1.3, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, so section 1.4 only has one thing. It's provide determination of the authority's costs for reflect services. And that's on the next page is 4.1, 4.1.1.
I gave him a 4.5, Mr. Chairman, just because, again, when you compare our rates to the region, we're, despite all the challenges, our rates are still the lowest in the region.
I gave him a 4.5 also.
Same, 4.5.
Okay, devotes entire time to the business of the authority.
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4. 4, okay. Managing finance. Maintains financial solvency. One of the things about GPA is they're a financially sound institution. I don't know.
We were able to front, how much, Mr. Chairman? 40 to
As
50
much-
million
As
dollars
much
for
as
the
40-some
REACT
million dollars.
because of the way we manage the
Sure,
finances,
finances.
and the base rate has not changed in almost 10 years, and yet we were still able to advance $40 million on the REACT. And that is where we wanted to be 20
That's
years
where we wanted to be 20 years ago. And so, and the other thing is, and we did this while also improving our ability to help our customers pay us. In other words, bringing in credit cards and all these other things. That's all under, it's a team effort, okay? So I gave him a 4.5.
We're in section 2.1, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, 2.1.
Yeah. So I gave him a 4 on everything except for 2.4. I gave him a 4. The oral and written reports. In fact, we teased John for, having PowerPoints that are only 80 pages long, 80 slides long. He goes above and beyond, in my view, providing information to us and the public.
Yeah.
You gave him all 4 points, all the way down.
4.0?
Yes.
Okay. I gave him 4.5, 4, 4, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Okay. Managing people.
Gave him a 4, 3. On the 3.1 and 3. I apologize. There's more on the next page.
Yes.
For those two.
Yeah, for the 3 point, I gave him a 3.5 for the first one. Implement succession planning, I gave him a 3.5. And then on the next page, okay. Implement structured leadership and workforce training. I gave him a 3.5. Achieve safety awareness. I gave them a 4 for this because they always get safety recognition. Enhance employee satisfaction. I gave them a 3.5. Define performance targets and conduct performance monitoring against performance targets and standards regularly.
I gave him a 3.5 for every one, the 3.12 through the 3.3, the ones you just summarized, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 3.5 on all of them except for the achieve safety and enhance safety practices, 3.1.3. Because they deal with dangerous stuff.
You gave him a 4, right?
I gave him a 4 there.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Mchako? Martinez?
Yeah. 4, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 3.5, 3.
Okay. And then this is the last section on this section is managing information. Sends meetings, and some general report of the affairs of the authority.
I gave him a 4.
Yeah, I gave him a 4. Commissioner 4, okay. Advises boards as to the needs of authority, approve demands for the payments of obligations. I gave him a 3.5. Okay.
4,
Provide for transparency on all GPA operations and improve accuracy of public and media communications.
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 3.5 too.
3.5.
And meet all required deadlines for filings. I gave him a 3.5. 4.5? Okay, good.
4.
Okay. And then for the personal competencies, strategic perspectives, actually, building teams, communication, information, search, achievement focus, judgment. I gave him a 5 all through all.
For strategic perspective, Mr. Chairman, I gave him a 4 point.
Okay?
That's 1.0, right?
No. Yeah.
Yes.
The 1.0.
Oh, okay. 4.5.
I gave him a 4.5. Okay. Building teams.
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 5.
4.
Under communications,
I gave him a 4.
okay, I gave him a 4.
4.
And information search,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Okay, on achievement focus, I gave him a I gave him a 4.5.
I gave him a 4.
4.5.
Judgment,
I gave him a
give
4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
He's done an excellent.
Okay, that completes.
Do we give this to our team?
Yeah, put your name on the front, please. Okay. John Ray, do you know what we want done with these? Do you know what we want done with these, right? Calculate it like this?
By section, and then you do the cumulative, you have to do the weighted.
Yeah.
Cumulative.
And just like, the existing one, okay, so.
Verify the template.
So you want to take one of these from the 2021, that's mine. Okay, Commissioner Marti, put your name on it. Oh, yeah, you put his name on it. Okay? So that's your job to go working. Okay.
So we can do Miguel and then come back.
Yeah,
to the score.
yes. So you have to score that like right now? Yes. Okay, and then we'll do Miguel, and then we'll try and score Miguel. We'll talk about John B's pay while you're scoring Miguel, okay? Okay. You want to take a 5-minute break and I'll go get Miguel? Sure. Okay, 5-minute break. Okay, bathroom break, yes.
What would be
Okay, Miguel, you're up to bat. This is your presentation.
Not so much a presentation, sir. I just prepared some supporting material for you.
Okay.
And it's the outline of the evaluation criteria and then metrics that I've used in past years, updated for fiscal year 22.
Yeah.
And some of the fiscal year 21 information was also included. So anything you see in red has been updated.
Sure.
And then on the end, you can see the spark lines on the, under the trend column, and that just for the data that's
We'll let
presented.
you go through it.
Okay. Just
And,
shows
and for the
trend.
commissioners, please note you have last year's evaluation, 2021, and you also have the blank sheet again for your evaluation. Okay? Everybody on board? Okay, so let's go through your presentation first, Miguel. And then we'll get to the scoring part.
Okay, sir. So under the managing operations, section 1, 1.1, reliability of water and wastewater systems, the metrics that we've included here are for the criteria reduction in frequency or duration of outages, main breaks per month, you can see for fiscal year 22, that's down to 3 from 5.9 the previous year.
Okay.
Post-storm outages for items 2 and 3 under this criteria, there's 0. We've not had any outages due to storms over the past couple of years, so I've been helped by Mother Nature. On 1.1.2, water boosted pump station reliability, our reliability here is 93.1%, which is down slightly from the previous year. Part of this is because we are currently we have several, as we reach the deadline for the court order, the remaining tank projects are all that's left, and we have several tanks that are offline. So we have booster pump stations that are operating under bypass, so an increase in the stress on those booster pump stations. So that combined with the recent power issues is causing some of our pumps to go out. So it's down slightly, but it's it was up at 97.1% in fiscal year 20, and you've seen it's come down steadily, but slightly over the past couple of years.
Okay.
Reduction in frequency or duration of SSOs, we're up for the year 6.3 compared to last year at 4.1, but down significantly from the fiscal year 19 high of 14. So we're working at reducing those. Sewer pump station reliability, we're down slightly again, 87.4% as opposed to 89.8% from last year. And just as a reminder, each of the stations is equipped with redundancy. So although we're at 87.4%, all of our pump stations are operating. It's just we have a few within each pump station spread across the system that have pumps that are down.
Okay.
On production wells reliability, we maintained our average active wells per month of 93. Our standby wells per month have declined to 2. Again, we're doing more frequent changeouts now, and that is reflected in the number of standby wells that are our average standby wells for the year. On wastewater treatment plant reliability, we are at 75% for meeting our NPDES compliance with the completion this year of Northern District's secondary upgrades. In 21, we had started that project, so the upgrades were at 75%. We completed it this year, so we're still maintaining the 75%. The only plant that has not been upgraded is Agana, but it is still meeting its requirements under chemically enhanced primary treatment. And then 1.1.7, maintain service pressure levels. There's some narrative explanation for the pressure zone realignment and management plan, which is included in the narrative supplement, first section. And again, on this document, anything in red has been updated from the prior year. So just to run through that, for phase 1 of the pressure zone realignment construction contract, we're at 68% complete as of the end of the fiscal year. Phase 2 The design is 100% complete. We're preparing to put that out. We've not started the construction on Phase 2 yet. And Phase 3, pressure zone realignment design is at about 50% complete as of the end of the year. We have made some targeted improvements. We completed the installation of a PRV up at Nimitz Hill, and we're still looking at the Tamuning GPO area for pressure adjustments. The tank bypass and repair work that I mentioned previously is ongoing at northern and southern reservoirs, and there will be temporary effects to pressures within these service areas until we get those reservoirs completed and booster pump stations return back to normal operation. And then the last metric here under this criteria is low or no pressure calls. We're up slightly, 37%. That's kind of to be expected with the work that we're doing and the for the northern and southern reservoirs. And as I explained in the work session, we have been having some issues operationally with the reservoir levels because of recent main breaks. So that continues to be something that we are working on. 1.2, compliance of water and wastewater systems. We have maintained 0 NOVs for our drinking water standards and submitted our CCR and our water quality reports on time. For compliance with the effluent discharge permit requirements, there's again some narrative here on the second page of the narrative supplement. Highlighted for fiscal year 22 for our NPDES permit requirements, just what I mentioned earlier, the 75% of plant compliance with the Northern District completion. Agania wastewater treatment plant, we did complete the interim disinfection study with the determination that in order to advance that, significant process improvements would be required, and it makes it economically infeasible at this time. We are still continuing to perform under the chemically enhanced primary treatment, but we will need to make some upgrades, our 7-year equipment upgrades for the Agania treatment plant within the next 2 years. 1.2.3, maintaining internal QA/QC processes. I've updated that in the narrative as well. We do have continuing recruitment with the AGM positions for to manage the QA/QC. We are also pending recruitment of additional compliance positions for a system-wide field compliance officer. But in the interim, the AGM Ops and the AGM for Compliance and Safety have agreed to internal regulatory compliance inspections. So we're working on that program right now. And in addition, in order to improve our QA/QC, the SOP committee was formally formed in prior years, and we continue to meet new SOPs based on the um, 1.24 customer. That's all the research and inspections here. Then SSOs due to fall in 5 years were down improvement 31 fiscal year 22 as opposed to 49. Also under this criteria, cross connection program actions now at 77, down slightly from the 97 the year before. That hasn't. Number of theft incidents per year is cybersecurity. To don't have data for cyber. Of 1.2 requirement. Any emergency response plan and readiness, we have continuity of operations plan that has not been updated. CIP, CLA monitoring wells. Rehabilitation part is one one program with the Navy. Moving on to 1.4 program and system renewals. Water Resource Master Plan, we do have an update that's in progress right now, our 5-year update to the 20. In terms of achieving our target CIP spending plan, you can see I updated. Largely due from the grant. For water system expansion, there is some replacements. We did complete the Poly-Ferdinand line replacement. Narrow. Road, Totopanyan Loop and Law Street construction is still on hold. Have all the master did issue two contracts. Water system expansion goals. Did complete the analytical study and so that
Gil, on the 1.4.4, the achieve the wastewater system expansion goals, where do you acknowledge your opening of the Northern Wastewater Treatment Plant partnership? We now have a plant that meets secondary treatment. I thought that when I think of a wastewater system, the fact that Northern system with the expansion, where do you take credit for that? I wasn't sure.
Isn't that under compliance of water and wastewater systems?
It is with the, more on the compliance side because it's upgraded to secondary, and there is information. And I also packaged, last year I gave you a list of accomplishments.
Yeah.
And so I updated.
That's under number 8.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just sharing with you that I consider the opening of the northern plant a huge success. Collaboration, federal money, meeting the court order. And I was just looking
Where
in your,
would
in
we
your
give you
thorough analytics, where do you recognize what I
that
think
on
is
this?
one of your major accomplishments here was that baby opened, functioning. Trying to figure out where
Where
you
would we-
recognize that achievement. We can put it in any slot we want. My view.
One 1.4.5?
Higher than you should. Lower than it was, so that's. We have yet to see that we. 3-year implementation plan, we're in 1.
Yeah.
So we finished. Here,
Second year.
we are making progress. We have established areas in year 1, and we are. And but we won't see. We are seeing these. I don't. Line with those.
Yeah.
As you know, not been a regulatory.
Yeah.
You don't have to repeat all that.
I do have some supplemental information in the narrative on page 7. So one of the interoperability initiatives was the Santa Rosa Reservoir intertie. We're finished. Santa Rosa, the new reservoir, I think, is done. We're working on the repairs to the existing reservoir. We have included provisions to connect should DOD decide that they want to advance that. I think the Air Force has not decided that they want to do that, so but we're ready for them when they are. So that is some progress that we've made. Additionally, we continue discussions on expanding Agate Santa Rita wastewater treatment plant to accept wastewater generated from the Navy base and other areas, and we've actually working right now on trying to figure out if we can include a stub-out connection in advance of DPW's work on Route 5 there to accept in the future waste from a lift station that's being planned to pump out of the Upper Heights housing area into our system. Right now that flows by gravity to the Navy. If they were to convert to or send it to our system, there's an elevation issue, so they have plans to put in a lift station so that they can send that wastewater our way. And so we're working with them to realize that. So that's included in the narrative. So we continue to pursue initiatives like that for system integration where it makes sense. And there seems to be some progress. On 1.5.2, improve investment upgrade credit ratings. Our outlook on all three rating agencies has been stable, and actually Fitch in June of 22 affirmed our stable outlook after our previous upgrade to triple B from triple B minus. So we're maintaining our credit ratings. Hopefully we can continue to do that with additional work with the PUC on our rate design. 1.3, balanced long-term debt financing and revenue financing. As you know, since our revenues have been impacted by the pandemic, that has been very difficult to do. The metrics that we have here have been updated, the numbers in red. Our ratio of bond money to IFCIP money is up this year. We're trying to kind of balance that out, but we're spending more bond money than we are IFCIP money. Part of that is driven by the fact that we have additional grants, right? So,
And you also have a delayed rate decision.
right. Our bond spend by year, numbers have been updated, 18.8 million in fiscal year 21 and 23.4 million in fiscal year 22. Again, this is reflective of the availability of grant funding. We will be spending more bond money on the remaining reservoirs, which we anticipate to be bid in the next couple of months. IFCIP spend by year, we're holding steady at about 2.6 million this year, 2.5 million last year, which is pretty significant considering our revenue issues. So I consider that a win. Improving or maintaining the affordability of service, our average annual bill per year has gone down slightly, reflecting, I suppose, a return to normalcy from the pandemic, and also people conserving water because of just general inflation. But our water and sewer bill as a percentage of median household income were down slightly, 2.56 last year, 2.38 this year. And this is based on MHI value of 48,000 per year. There's also some additional information in the narrative, essentially just updating you on, we did get a decision from the PUC, and we did propose a customer assistance program. The PUC elected to defer the customer assistance program pending additional information, so we're working to put that together and bring it before them under a separate docket. 1.5.5, improve or maintain liquidity and reserves. You can see the numbers have been updated for fiscal year 21 and 22, and after the February 2020 PUC order, with the reconfiguring of reserves, the target for days cash on hand was set at 120. That was our goal, and we exceeded that in fiscal year 21 with days cash on hand at 282, and then in fiscal year 22, days cash on hand at 369. So you will recall that part of that reconfiguration was the repurposing, I guess, of some of our cash reserves, which we put into the rate stabilization fund. So you'll see that also reflected elsewhere. And then 1.5.6, achieving personnel compensation migration objectives. We are now, since 2021, have been at the 20th percentile, which is what our goal was. We have not raised that bar yet. Under 2.0, finance, 2.1, financial capacity to meet operational needs. Our metric is
Get that better?
90, we finished the actual at 94 million for O&M expenses, so slightly under budget. And we were able to meet minimum debt service coverage targets at 1.3 for fiscal year '22, which doesn't give anybody in this room any comfort, I don't think, but unfortunately, that's where we are because of the financial reality.
You had a delay in the rate case.
Yes, we did. And we did use, as you know, the rate stabilization fund in order to help us meet those targets.
And now you're replenishing.
When you're replenishing that,
We're
you
trying
got
to,
some
yeah.
money from it.
Yep.
2.4, maintaining cash reserve funding levels. Again, our target for unrestricted cash reserves was 3 to 4 million, and we're at 12 million for fiscal year '22. And then specific reserve fund targets, the 13.5 is the OMRF, which is the indenture required cash reserve, and we're funding that. We've maintained our funding on that at 13.9 million, so we're meeting our cash reserves. And then identify cost efficiencies and reduce waste. There's some information on the narrative supplement on that. Section 2.5 on page 8, which highlights just what we've done with our E1 system and how we expect to refine that to improve cost efficiencies, and I think that's working. We also have audit plan objectives for fiscal year '23, which includes continued focus on procurement, supply, and operational efficiencies. So we've done in fiscal '22, we completed a partial IA investigation and report on operational efficiencies, but we're expanding that through our operational divisions in fiscal year '23. So Janet has more work lined up for her there to help us do that. Keep in mind, though, that we have been under cost containment for the past several years because of the pandemic, and we have reduced or deferred some of our maintenance spending that we should be doing, and that is kind of reflected, I think, in some of our operational performance criteria. Moving on to 3.0, human resource management. 3.1, improve recruitment and retention. The criteria here are average days to fill position. Unfortunately, that has taken longer to fill a position. I'm not sure it's because of the efforts of our HR department. I think it's just a reflection of the market. I think everybody's having a bit of difficulty recruiting. So we have the average days up from 79 last year to 96 this year. Average monthly full-time employee vacancies, 31 average for fiscal year '21, and we're up to 35 for fiscal year '22. There have been a lot of separations this year. It's been difficult to retain employees. 3.2.
Is that, Miguel, is that a function of not enough people wanting to do the work, or?
So I think it's a combination of retirements. We've seen some early separations, people either moving off island or taking positions elsewhere. I can recall seeing last year a couple of those just for example, military service, and a couple also being hired away from us to work for
DCSP or
the federal government. So we've lost some people there.
So
I think we continue to see robust applications submitted for the entry-level positions, but as you know, it makes it more difficult for us to get them trained up. One encouraging number, 3.4, is we have increased from over last year the number of certified, Guam EPA certified employees in the operations division. So that's an improvement. That is reflecting the entry-level guys that have come on board. They've been encouraged to take the test. We've been trying to provide them with additional training. I have some narrative information on that in the supplement. The work that we've done with WERI, USGS, and the local chapter of AWWA to get our folks to attend conferences, and also training that's been put on by the local chapter of AWWA. And also stuff that we've paid for. We've had some grants for training, and then we've helped our employees avail themselves of additional training so that they can get certified. and improve their technical skill set. So those efforts are paying off. In-house training up from the height of the pandemic, but down slightly from last year with 9 versus 8 in-house trainings that were conducted. Moving on to 4.0 information management. Under 4.1 public filing requirements, we did file our annual reports for fiscal years 20 and 21 in November of 22, so we're a little bit late on that. The annual report for fiscal year 22 usually coincides with the period following the completion of our audit, so we're anticipating that before mid-year next calendar year. We're already actually working on the annual report for that. Our annual US EPA water quality reports were filed on time, June 22nd, June of 2022 for fiscal year 21, and we will file before June of 2023 for fiscal year 22. Our OPA CCR filing dates, we did meet the deadline, and we did receive, for the board's information, Certificate of Excellence for our CCR in October of 2022. So we just received that certificate. It was in the employee update a couple weeks ago. In terms of 4.2, improving the accuracy of public and media communications, I think we've done pretty well on that. As you know, we've have someone on board helping us with that, and we are expanding that in fiscal year 22, and we expanded that at the end of fiscal year 22 and moving into fiscal year 23 with an initiative to highlight our achievements in system improvement as recommended both by this board and the Public Utilities Commission. And so we have a strategy that was developed and approved, so that is moving forward. So we'll see more of the fruits of that labor across multiple media platforms in the coming months. 4.3, broaden our public outreach. We have some metrics on that. Number of public meetings held for both the Water Resource Master Plan and the 5-year CIP. In fiscal year 22, we did have 5 public meetings on that. The 3 public meetings prior to the evidentiary hearings, and then the evidentiary hearings in November, and then the PUC hearing in September of this 2022 for a total of 5. Again, the narrative includes information on broadening our public outreach. Maintain and enhance management reporting to the CCU. I think you've seen some shift, especially in finance, on their presentation of their reporting to the CCU. I've overhauled mine. I'm trying to get some professional help to streamline and improve.
Can you keep it under 77 slides?
We try.
John B. has mastered the PowerPoint presentation.
And the last criteria here for information management is meeting all compliance and reporting requirements. We're at 100% on that for fiscal year 22 with our filings with US EPA on the compliance reporting. So that kind of completes the narrative outline. Again, I did the narrative and the outline, and I did include just a rundown of supplemental accomplishments for fiscal year 22 that the board may want to consider.
You have a very full plate. I think the biggest accomplishment really is there's 2. All right, the fact that you've the Northern Wastewater Treatment Plant, that's a big accomplishment for GWA. I think that's, if I remember correctly, you made the statement that that's the largest GovQuam for GWA.
It's the largest CIP in GWA history.
Yeah. I think even in GovQuam.
Well, I mean, in fairness to Miguel, John B. gets public-private partnerships that put a $600 million power plant and a $300 million solar plant. He's got to build his own. And
You gotta build your
while
own.
this was a federal grant that we were able to successfully negotiate and receive, someone then has to build the dang thing.
Yep.
It's been built, it's done, like agate was well done.
Yes.
And, you know, you hear all those ads, including somebody sitting at this table about protecting that aquifer, but that northern wastewater treatment plant actually is is one of the two pieces that protects that aquifer. And it's a significant achievement to get that done. But yeah, he's having to use he doesn't have the freedom of, you know, John B. gets to use other people's money. And although Northern, it was other people's money, just the sheer,
well, that's-
he had to actually manage the construction of it. John B. has KEPCO building these things and doesn't have to run over there and say, how we doing? More hands-on. We hired the contractor, you managed, and then you oversaw the construction. And kept DOD informed and happy.
Yeah, the GWIST meetings, bi-weekly GWIST meetings have been since the beginning of the program, so they've been in the loop on everything OEA, US EPA, and our Navy One Guam partner.
Any questions, commissioners? No. You continue to make steady improvements, Miguel. That's, you know, the company today is a much different company than it was when you stepped in the door in January of 2016.
Yeah, if I may share an anecdote, I was dealing with a frustrated ratepayer, you know, and we know this system, you know, can be frustrating because of what we inherited and what we're trying to repair. But I made the comment to this ratepayer that we have homegrown talent, hasn't had a pay adjustment since he started. How much of that CIP has actually gotten into the ground, how much of that ratepayer money got in the ground, how much of the federal money got in the ground, and the partnership that you've managed to maintain with the federal government. And you have done an excellent job. And you've been the best general manager we've had.
And the longest serving.
In that order.
In that order.
But that's not why he's the best.
That's not why he's the best, but
Maybe
in
he's
that
the
order.
dumbest, but that's not why he's the best.
No. Okay. Thank you very much.
We can score the rest.
We're going to score you now.
Okay,
Very
sir.
good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Miguel.
Okay, sir.
Okay, from the top. Okay. Start with 1.1.
Same 5-point scoring scale, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman, right?
same 5-point scoring scale.
3 is meets expectations, 5 is significantly exceeds expectations, 1 is fails to meet.
Right. Go ahead.
So for reliability of the water and the wastewater system, 1.1.1, reduction in frequency and duration of water service outages, I gave him a 3.5.
Okay.
Gave him a 3 on the water pump reliability, 3 on the reduction of the frequency and duration of SSOs, 3.5 in the improvement in the wastewater pump station reliability, 3.5 in the wastewater treatment plant, or water treatment plant and well reliability, improving and maintaining the wastewater treatment plant reliability, that's Northern, I gave him a 4.5. For maintain and minimum and maximum service pressure levels, I gave him
I give him a 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.5, 4.5, and a 3.5.
Okay, mine is 4, 4, 4,
4, 4.
Consistent.
All comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
Okay, under 1.2.1, 1.2.1, yeah,
I gave him a 4.
4.
4.5.
Okay. 1.2.2,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4 also.
4.
1.2.3,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 3.5.
4.
1.2.4,
I gave him a 3.5.
I gave him a 3.5.
4.
1.2.5,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a
Met
4.
the court order.
That's the court order.
4.5.
Okay. Okay, 1.3.1, fiscal security,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4.
Wait. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I thought we were over at 1.3.
1.3.
Yes, we just started that one.
Here, right?
1.3.1, right?
Approved system physical. Gave him a 4.
Is that where you're at?
1.3.1?
Yeah,
Where are you?
1.3. No, you were saying 1.2.
Oh, 1.3, 1.3.1, improve system fiscal security,
Okay.
I gave him a 4.
4.5.
1.3.2, improve system cybersecurity,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
1.3.3, ensure a safe working environment,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.5.
1.3.4, maintain emergency response plan and readiness,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Maintain continuity of operation plan and readiness, I gave him a 3.5.
4.
Improve water resources on aquifer protection,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4.5.
4.5.
Okay. 1.4.1, update and maintain water resources master plan and 5-year CPI,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
1.4.2, achieve targeted CIP plan, spending plan and annual renewals,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Achieve water system expansion goals,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Achieve wastewater system expansion goals,
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 5.
4.5.
Achieve non-revenue water loss, water loss reduction goals,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 3.
4.
Okay, long-term objectives, 1.5.1, advanced GWA DOD system integration,
I gave him a
I gave him a 4.
4.5.
Improve, maintain investment grade credit ratings,
I gave him a 3.
give him a 4.5.
4.
1.5.3, balance long-term debt financing and revenue financing,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
One is improve and maintain affordability of service,
I gave him a 3.5.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Improve and maintain liquidity and reserves,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Achieve personnel compensation migration objectives,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 3.5.
4.
Okay. Managing finance, maintain financial capacity to meet operational needs, I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 3.
4.
Manage operation expenses to meet budget levels,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Meet or exceed minimum debt service coverage requirement rate targets,
I gave him a 3.5.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Maintain all cash reserves, fund requirements, targets,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Identify cost efficiencies and eliminate waste, I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 3.
4.
Okay. And then managing people, 3.1, improve recruitment and retention of qualified staff, I gave him a 3.5.
4.
Improve and maintain succession planning for management and supervisory personnel,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Improve employee satisfaction and pride,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.
Enhance employee training and development programs,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 5.
4.
Okay, and managing information. Meet publication deadlines for all required public report filings, annual, say, everything else,
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4. Improve accuracy of public and media communications, I gave him a 4.
4,
Broaden public outreach for GWA, CIP and system improvements.
I gave him
Gave him a 4.
4,
Maintain enhanced management reporting to CCU.
I gave him
I gave him a 5.
4,
Last one. Meet all compliance reporting requirements, court order, consent decree.
4.5,
I gave him 5. That's the one on the very end.
no, I gave him a 4. I'll give him a 4.
Okay. And then the rest are the personal competencies. Okay. Start with strategic perspective.
I gave him a 4.5.
I gave him a 5.
4.5,
Building teams.
I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 4.
4.5,
Communications.
3.5.
I gave him a 4.
4,
Information search.
Gave him a 4.
I gave him a 4 also.
4,
Achievement focus.
I gave him a 4.5.
I gave him a 5.
4.5,
Judgment. I gave him a 5.
4.5,
Defensive.
That's it, right? Okay. Yep, that's it. Okay.
Recess while they tabulate.
Yeah. Sign, put your name on it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You know what to do with this, right? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna recess for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll start with the Agnew. Yeah, okay? Yeah, stop for it. Yeah. I need to pee. This process is getting better. Yeah, it really is. And we're accountable to our public. They get a chance to see us. And we're going to do this today. We're going to finish this today. Yay! Then we can take a break. Yeah. We just have the meeting tonight, and just don't forget your part. The date for swearing in. We're back in our meeting after that short recess, and we're still on the agenda. We're talking about pay adjustments. So in that part of the agenda, we also have a request from our general manager for GPA. The law states that whenever there's a change in pay for the AGMO, this is just the AGMO for PA, that proposed change in pay must be concurred by the board, by the commission. So, John, do you want to briefly tell us what you've done?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Of course, the ACMO, as opined by the legal counsel, could evaluate her and make a recommendation for the pay adjustment, but that pay adjustment has to be concurred by the CCU. It's been since, and of course I've given her an outstanding rating, as for various reasons as I provided in the evaluation provided to the commission.
Can you just do like a brief summary of the basis of your evaluation? You rated her as just some of the key highlights in your.
Yep. But if I'll just finish, and then I'll go right to that. So, thank you, Commissioner. And so Ms. Magnus hasn't had an increase in anything since 2017. That's 5 years, no? And when you're talking about whether it's 3 or 4%, it's a difference of 1,500. My recommendation really is to go with the 4%, which would actually bring her from the 145 down up to 150,800, and that's after 5 years of service. So, again, highlighting some of the accomplishments, most especially during the fiscal year 2022. We had part of it was the Cabers problem, and as you can see, there was, not as significant as what I had in 1991, but it was significant enough, and with the COVID and all the issues, we as a team were able, and especially with our help, to get back Cabers 1 within 2 months. A huge, and so then we avoided a lot of load shedding during that period. So yes, he has over 200 some employees under her reign. Every step of operation, from T&D to generation, and of course you're talking about the H plans of generation, no? You're talking about fleet, system control, dispatching, and again facilities. So she has a total she has the bulk of the employees under her responsibility. As we went through the PD conversion, also she was able to help manage getting all other machines available to that period to avoid load shedding, which was actually limited to a day or two during this period. So the organization continues through T&D to install new poles. All the 500 customers coming on board, just in the same time, as you noted, there have been a lot of retirees, but also the apprentices have helped through the training programs that have been administered. So again, when you talk about 260 employees, then you're talking about including apprentices and all that under that organization's wings. The outages did decrease from an average value of 322 to 258 for the year, and the duration decreased also from 8.05 to 6.76. In addition to that, we have had some issues, of course, for the past 3 years with capacitors on the meter, which have been replaced on a regular basis. So her team had constantly stayed on top of that as fast as we can get the meters that come in, and that's noted in the Landis and Gear report here. We've had, of course, new technology. The battery system that have been put in and installed, learning to work with that, and how dispatching the system. And again, this is also part of work that her team, her managers accomplish, and of course I have to give credit to her for that type of improvement. Other issues, GMH, helping GMH, other areas, we do that. And again, if you look at, it's really on page 11 of the performance, that's the number of personnel that's under her wings. Bucket truck availability have been up to 90% now. Of course, a lot of new vehicles, but a continuation of working with the old ones. So it's very challenging time, commissioners. I mean, we all know the Cabras 1 and 2 are over 40-some, about 46 years old. The other machine are no spring chickens either. They're about 30+ years old. And coupled with all the conversion of PD8 and 9, having that extra, reducing the reserve during that critical period of time, I think we did come through quite well in keeping the lights on, no? And actually not bad at all. We did have some issues with the salt that we addressed really quickly, but again, it's going to need some capital investments to improve further, I believe, the southern part of the island. So those are the main reasons, listeners. Furthermore, I mean,
And you're recommending a 4% adjustment in her pay?
3% is 149,350 is like 1,500. Again, if you look at it, it's been since 2017 since any adjustment has been made.
Almost 6
And
years.
again, as was noted in the past, really, the COVID, difficult times and scenarios. So there hasn't been a complaint to that scenario. However, I think it's appropriate that
And she's managing, John, this many people, this 269 and the 124.
Yep.
Yeah.
Directly under
Under
her.
supervision.
And if you look at it, they're all critical, even water system,
Yeah.
the trainees over there. So that's a big organization to work with.
Dire GPA, so.
That's a critical operation. So again, we all work closely together. But, also, one can say that the morale in the whole organization has been good. And what value do I think despite all of the things everyone kind of roll up their sleeve and came through for us. So. And she does assist in other things, of course, but again, that's the bulk of it.
Okay, Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move that we concur with the decision of the General Manager, John Benavente, on the evaluation of Ms. Melinda Mockness, the Assistant General Manager for Operations. He has recommended a 4% adjustment for Melinda to take her from $145,000 to $150,800. This would be her first adjustment in pay in almost 6 years, 5 years and 8 months. And as he cited, when we lost Cabras 1 and 2, to continue to be able to keep the lights on, and now she's incorporating renewables at a significant level, and she's been a trusted right hand of John B. and homegrown and extremely dedicated. And And Melinda's worked very hard to come as far as she has, as well as she has. And so I'm comfortable in recommending, making a motion to
Making a motion to
concur
do
with
that?
John's
Okay.
Recommendation to give Ms. Melinda Mopnis a 4% pay adjustment to $150,800.
Okay. Second?
Mr. Chair.
Okay. I'm fine. I have no questions and no further comment. Everybody ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make the record note that there's 3 ayes. The motion carries with 3 ayes.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Congratulate Melinda. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Now, moving on to, we're going to move on? Oh, no, he's just throwing something away. Now we'll take up, John Ray has given us the sheet, Commissioners, for the recap of the score for John B.
So, Mr. Chairman, as I read it, his overall evaluation by the three of us came in with with the weighted averages, came in at 4.09,
Right.
which is, it's not a 5, but it's the next best thing. It's a
Yes.
4,
Yep.
which is significantly exceeds expectations. We've heard and we've seen the thoroughness of his reports, and you know, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of new things coming in the GPA. He's reduced the size of the entity nonetheless, dealing with new technologies, bringing them online, and really positioning Guam for the paradigm shift that is already taking place,
Yep.
where we will significantly reduce our reliance on oil for our energy and begin to lower the cost of energy and sustain the lowering of that cost of energy for the long term, and yet without sacrificing reliability. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I just had a question. His current pay, do we know what's, based on our industry review, what his
Sure.
current pay is at?
John Ray will tell you.
Based off the 2017 market data, he is currently at the 55th to 60th percentile.
Okay.
He's between it. I just want to note, since he was hired in July of 2015, this has been his salary. And no adjustments since then.
Since
2015,
15.
July 27 of 2015.
okay, so,
That's when we put him back as general manager.
okay, so that's 8 years. That's almost 8 years.
Never had a salary?
7.5 years, not 7.5 years. So, Mr. Chairman, I propose that we increase John Benaventi's pay by 4% to
Okay.
$234,000 from $225,000.
Okay.
That's a modest increase of Mr. Benaventi's pay. On the one hand, he's already at the 55th to 60th percentile, so that'll nudge him up a little bit higher. But
Okay.
having said that, we all know how difficult it is to attract and retain management, and it would be very unfair to John to dismiss how much has been achieved since he stepped in as GM in 2015 without any pay adjustment. He's continued to be very dedicated to changing the way we make energy, and
And he's got plans to get us into the future.
and
So,
and he's
sure.
implementing those plans
He's
now.
implementing those plans. Okay.
So I think even though he's making a little higher than his team is making, and he's
But
he's still only in the 55th to 60th percentile, which means in the same industry, same size power company, there's people that 40 to 45% of his peers are making more money than him, which tells you how high you have to pay to get qualified people. I mean,
Yeah.
some people are going to say, "Oh, wow, that's such a big number," but he's not even. He's barely past the halfway mark of what other managers running the same size utility are being paid. And we're only proposing a 4% adjustment in his pay, which is his first pay increase in 8 years.
Okay.
As I've said earlier, even the minimum wage has gone up higher than 4% in the last 8 years. And John has really begun the paradigm shift that is going to
Okay,
benefit
that's a
our people.
motion.
So I move to raise his pay to $234,000. It's a 4%. It's a 4% pay adjustment.
Okay. Second?
Second?
Second to that. Further discussion? No need? No further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show there are 3 aye votes, 3 of the requirement, motion passes. do we have Zena ready? Still waiting? Okay.
Tabulating. So just a
She's-
5-minute recess.
Can we have
Mr.
another
Chairman?
5-minute
Just to-
recess, okay, everybody?
We're tabulating. Mr.
Yeah,
Badi's
tabulating Mr.
review.
Bordiali, so we can finish. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're back after that short brief recess so that our staff can compile the data. Commissioners, before you have the scoring for Miguel Bordallo, and down on the bottom, you'll see his final rating is 3.94. And so, given that, does the commission want to make a motion? Commissioner Sanchez, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Miguel's rating is just a smidgen below the rating of 4. Expectations, basically. This is also the first time he has been considered for any increase in pay
January of 2016.
when he first started. So
Yes.
it's almost 7 years since he started.
What's the last pay
What
increase?
percentile?
What percentile is his?
Currently, he's between the 30th and the 35th. His salary is
I'm sorry.
35th percentile. He's at 175.
What's the whole company name?
We're at, the baseline is 20. Okay? Sure. Okay.
I'd like to propose a 5% increase in pay.
Okay. Zena, we'll double check that.
Double check that, Dana, but I took 1.05 times 175, 183,750. So it would be a 5% increase.
No, she's gonna check. Just to verify the number.
So yeah, my motion was for a 5% increase
Yeah.
in Miguel's pay to 183,750. We're just verifying if that's the correct
Then-
math.
Make sure our math is correct, yes.
Pretty sure it's correct.
And that will be still be in that 35?
It'll be at the higher range of the 35th percentile. So he's making more than the average employee at GWA, but we know how difficult, he is like our 5th or 7th manager. He's our longest
Yeah.
lasting one. We've had interim managers. He's homegrown. He's really managing, in many ways, a much more difficult challenge than the Guam Power Authority.
yes,
He's got a
yes.
very
Okay.
challenging consent
Do you have a
decree.
number, Zena?
So based on the salary scale, he would be, if, with the 5% recommendation, it'll be 184,340.
So how'd you get that one? I did 1.05 times 175.
Would you like to show Commissioner Sanchez your
Because I'm very good at math.
No, but it's a
Are you doing the
scale.
hourly? Are you doing the hourly?
No, here.
Based on the pay scale, sir.
It's based on, here, she'll show you.
So the 4% that is recommended there.
Right.
It's 1.8.
2,515. I mean, I'm just doing 5% of 175.
I know, but she's actually following the
We're
pay scale.
using the pay scale.
Well, I'm not. I'm proposing a 5% pay raise.
Well, that's what it is, but,
No,
okay,
I mean, well,
okay.
5% more of 175 is 183,750. What am I doing? What are you doing?
So the pay scale is based on 1% sub-steps between the steps. So the 4%, given the 4% recommendation, we give him 182,515.
Yes.
The next step, which would be the 5th sub-step, is 184,340.
Is that a 5% increase? It's actually more than that, right?
Yeah, but because where he's at right now, it's in between.
Oh,
It's not
Simon.
started. We
Or
did
you have to land at a step? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yeah.
So what would that, so instead of 183,750, you're saying it's 184? Okay, I'm good with that.
184,
So,
340.
okay,
342, and that's step,
184.
340.
340, 184,340.
and that's a 35 step. what is the step or?
A sub-step.
What's the sub-step?
So it's, that would be 5 sub-steps from where he's currently.
5 sub-steps from the 35 percentile.
Yes.
So
So
it's,
for the,
yeah, different, there's different salary for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so this will be step 5.
Right.
Right.
yes, that would be us.
And just for the lay people, right, that aren't bound to the GovGuam, that's actually a 5.3% increase from his total pay, but to fit into the pay scales that we have
Yes.
adopted.
Yes.
Yeah, to achieve the right pay scale.
Right.
It has to be, instead of 183,750, it has to be 184,340.
Yes, based
Okay.
on the case.
Okay.
Yeah, and on mathematically, that's just a 5.3%
That's
increase. So
5.3.
I'd like to
You're-
amend my motion, Mr. Chairman, to increase Miguel Bradallo's pay to $184,340 per year. It's a
Second?
5.3% equivalent
That will be
pay
on
adjustment.
step 5.
Yep.
Whatever
step is.
whatever HR has told us to peg it
Okay.
at. But that's the math for the lay people.
Right.
Second?
Second? Okay. On the, no further discussion? Okay, on the amendment to the current number of 184,340? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, on the main motion to increase the salary, again to that number, 184,340, everybody all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, aye? Okay, so that's 3 ayes.
Yes.
Okay, and that does it.
Motion
Thank
carries
you.
for Miguel.
Okay,
John B?
that's it. Motion to adjourn.
No, John B.
Oh, we did John B already.
What did we adjust his pay to?
We did John B already.
Oh, we did the
no, we did.
4%. My bad.
Yeah, we
You're
did
correct.
John B.
My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no.
I move, Mr. Chair, that
Huh? Yeah, already, we did that.
Yeah, we
So-
concurred, yes.
Yeah, we did everything. Okay,
So I move that we adjourn this.
okay, move to adjourn.
The evaluation.
This
Yeah,
special
second.
meeting is hereby adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, too.
Thanks, Zena. I forgot you have to fit in the snap.